So David, GDPR can be seen extremely negatively. We've seen that in the press and we see that all in the mainstream media. What's your take on how you approach this from a business point of view and almost get past that fear, uncertainty and doubt?
Well, I think the fear and uncertainty is a function of not understanding the size of the problem, not understanding the extent of your security measures that you might have in place, but also not necessarily appreciating what is the real impact of GDPR, because it is not just simply a matter of defensive posture. And that's interesting because the British insurer CIO that I mentioned said, do you know what, for me, this is actually an operational efficiency issue. What it means to say is that if, thanks to a legal opinion from Judith, for example, I need to carry out these particular tasks, what is that causing me to do? It's causing me to reduce the data lake, as Tim was saying earlier. If I do that, I'm creating a return on investment. I'm reducing the amount of storage, the amount of power for that storage, the amount of backup and recovery I need. So actually creating an opportunity here for at least cost saving, if not necessarily revenue.
Yeah, I think that if you assess your type of data processings and then mitigate those risks, you're actually more able to talk to your customers and be more like a trustful company.
GDPR is an opportunity, there's no question. It is focusing the whole company on its information and the information it holds about its customers and its own staff. We shouldn't forget that.
You know, I'm really excited about the opportunity that it brings because, as I said earlier, it's going to bring that opportunity to get better understanding of the data. You know, and to David's point, if you think of it as a way of optimizing your organization, I can think of mergers and acquisitions, for example, as a really good part where if you understand the organization, the data, it makes it much easier to integrate or divest your organization and the data that sits within it. So I think the GDPR is something we should have been doing previously. We should have baked security already into our organizations. And as John said, this is giving us a little push. So I think you know, the opportunities here are massive around exploiting the data, understanding what you have, and using it to drive new revenue streams within your business.
Let's talk more to those benefits because we're kind of alluding to them here. David, what are the real benefits of GDPR?
Well, expanding, really, Tim talking about M&A exemplifies the need to get the front-end business engaged. I heard precisely that point about M&A from a global oil company, and yet another one said, we are moving mass data from on-premise into the cloud. First of all, what GDPR tells us is why are we moving all this dark data that we really don't understand? GDPR is a catalyst and a reason, if you like, for carrying out the reduction of the mass data going into the cloud, so we reduce the cost. Secondly, as I'm passing it into the cloud, why don't I put it through a security filter of encryption, masking, etc., so when the data arrives in the cloud, it's already in a secured state. I think that's a very significant business opportunity.
And John, from a Burberry perspective, are these the kind of benefits you're hoping to achieve through compliance by May 2018?
Yes, I mean, GDPR compliance is going to help us to understand our data better. It's going to help us to be more efficient in terms of the operation of the systems that manipulate and hold that data. And as David pointed out, it's actually a part of the due diligence in the move towards the cloud, which all retailers are aspiring to do or are in the midst of doing.
And Judith, what kind of feedback are you getting from your clients on this? Do companies understand the benefits here and what they can achieve through compliance?
Most companies do. They do feel encouraged to have a unified database so they can easily locate it, minimize it, analyze it, and also anonymize it or report on it if necessary, because you have this unified database. What they also see as a unique opportunity is that being able to minimize it, to report on it, is a very good way to communicate about it with your customers.
And precisely to follow on from that, I mean, we would say there are three major axes that we're talking about here. One is compliance. The second is operational efficiency, which we've just talked about. And there's the third avenue, or the third axis, which Judith has alluded to, and that is revenue. Now, this is really strange. I'm going to make money out of a regulation. It doesn't seem, it seems contradictory. But the comments are, David, if you could help me stamp GDPR effective on my website, this would help with customer loyalty and attracting new customers. Secondly, if I'm carrying out efficient masking and encryption thanks to my security team and my CISO, I can actually more legitimately mine that data for better products, for better services, precisely as was said.